Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and all between the binary. This is Get Informed with Waji. I'm Waji Lion. Thank you so much for tuning in. I got an interesting one for you today. I got an interesting one for you today. Well, first of all, I'm waiting for people to come in. We only have 30 people. And when I start talking and we only have 30 people, we have to repeat ourselves. But I have some good news. My friend Justice reached out to me and said she wants to talk today about setting up her account on Substack so we can do the first grassroots organizing training on Substack for you guys by a seasoned grassroots organizer, Justice Gapson. Wasn't only a grassroots organizer, she was an organizer for the ACLU. She has her own nonprofits, and she has been on the board of and helping other nonprofits and grassroots organizations like KS Moda that has been focused on helping Dreamers Act and helping dreamers find hope in this country. So we're not having any regular person. We're having someone that knows what the fuck they're doing. They're also an abolitionist. So if you know what that means, you know what that means. The other thing is I also reached out to Deborah. Deborah has been very happy with you guys' reaction to her live stream. She feels overwhelmed and she feels your love and appreciate it and has agreed to come back for us on another episode. So she says yes to coming back. I might have a live stream with Piotr today around 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. Central US time. So make sure you know that we are coming back today and that we will have Professor Piotr, who is a former UN official, where we will be discussing the latest updates from his perspective. So keep an eye on. We are working hard. I am literally in the process of our team is literally in the process of finishing an article um, for you guys about the Trump Turkey situation. So keep an eye on that. We are working on it. Yesterday was a crazy busy day. You see, when I do my work, I wake up at 6:30 and I prepare myself and I start working probably around 7:30 preparing for the podcast. Podcast recording starts at 8, from 8 all the way to 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. I am recording. After that, if I have a doctor appointment or two, that takes an hour to 2 hours away from my schedule. That 1 hour to 2 hours, I usually utilize for writing an article, publishing some videos, doing some stuff here and there. And then I could try to catch up to phone calls later. But you see, when I have doctor appointments, that takes me away from that. And it's really frustrating because I feel like I'm falling behind and my work doesn't end until I have to go to bed. Like we are working from the moment we are waking up all the way to the time we go to bed. The only time we're not working when we are cooking, eating, sleeping, going to a doctor appointment, or coming back. That's the reality. This is the type of work that if you take a long break, you might be cut out. You see, Jacob is very impressive. He can take a weekend off and come back, no problem. But so you guys know, like the system, the schedule, we are working for you all the time. For you, you are the one that we are working for. So we appreciate you showing up. We appreciate you subscribing. We appreciate you liking. We appreciate you commenting. Your readership is so nice. Your comments means a lot, and your funding is what supports our work. So just you know that this is solely funded by readers and listeners. There is no funding from any corporation. There's no funding from uh, government officials. There's no funding from foreign parties. This is just you guys that found my work important and decided to say, I would like to support your work financially. And that means a lot. And if you don't know, our financial support is actually very affordable. It's one of the most affordable subscriptions on the channel on Substack. It's $5 a month, and if you want to really grab a steal, it's $30 a year, and that way you are getting access to the YG Lion podcast. And if you get more than one subscription at a time, you get 50% off of your membership. So if you, yeah, if you get two subscriptions, you can get 50% off. So that's just something for you to consider. And if you cannot afford it, that's okay. Today, I will make a post for people who cannot afford it. You're going to comment on there, and I'm going to give you guys a whole bunch of free memberships. There is a link out there that I have posted several times for people who just want to click on that link and get the 6 months free trial of my membership. So that's also an option for you guys if you want to do. Um, I was just trying to find a way to make it easier. So if you don't feel like reaching out, talking to me, and you want to click on that link and do it privately, you could do that. Anyways, we are getting close to 100 listeners. If you could all take a second and do me one big favor, since we're at 85, if every single person could hit share, this would be amazing. If we can get 85 shares on this channel, on this live stream, oof, I would be so grateful. Just 85 shares. That's all I'm asking for. I was wearing this yesterday. This is my agal, which is the Arabic man's crown that we put on top of the shmag or ghutra. And this is what you put under the shmag. But if you're feeling gangster and you don't want to put the shmag, you could do like what I'm doing. You know. So I'm feeling a little Saudi gangster today, and you know, you see, it doesn't because it's custom made for my head. You see, I bend my head, I raise it, it doesn't fall. See, Told you custom made is the best. No one believes me. Custom made. I told you yesterday. Custom made, Habibi. Find you a cheap tailor in your town. Find you a cheap shoemaker in your town. Or if they're a little expensive, buy the little bit custom made. You will prefer it for the rest of your life. I promise you. Custom made is better than brand name. If you didn't know, if you haven't watched my video from yesterday, you wouldn't know why, would you? You should go watch my video from yesterday. I talk a lot about why even expensive brand names don't tell you that they have different tiers. They keep certain tiers for certain classes and they sell you their cheap goods for high top dollars so they could just squeeze you out. You should go watch it if you didn't hear it. Yeah, I talk a lot about it. Yeah. Ask someone from the what ask someone that came from the from the higher class. I used to live in the higher class until I was became a dissident. I lived a wealthy life, a very wealthy life. Came from a very privileged family. We had royal scholarships from the king. We had connections to the royal family here and there. We were given special privileges. We had maids. We had drivers. We had so yeah. I lived a very 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 wealthy life, and I started from zero, from scratch, where I was houseless when I started. When I became a political dissident, I got out of my parents' house with two trash bags that had my stuff in it, and that was it. That was the beginning. So I have an idea of what's the life looks like in the upper class, and I know what it's like to be houseless. I don't know what it's like to be sleeping in the middle of the street, but I know what it's like to be houseless. So when I give you these information, they're not based on my opinion. They're based on what actually people from wealthy families do. There are people who knew money that fall for the brand names and spend all their money on brand names. But if you grew up wealthy and you are there for generations to come and after, people invest in things that last them a long time rather than just brand names. So like they'll go to tailors that do tailoring for the royal family, or they'll go to tailors that tailor for someone special, and they'll get their clothes done. They call that quiet luxury. Let's get into our politics. Let's get into our politics. What you said? No, what, Habibi? What to know? Want to hear a cute story? I want a gas station, and I went to a gas station, and it was windy. I had scarf wrapped around. Wow. Yeah, no, no, you're not. She said, "Ah, no, Habibi." I get it now. Oh, Habibi, no. Well, that Habibi has nothing to do with being Muslim. Habibi has something to do with being an Arab, which is correct. I mean, you didn't answer wrong. That's absolutely correct. Well, we have to look into the collapse of the deterrence architecture that the Trump administration and Israel had in the 12-day war, where on June 13th, 2025, Israel executed Operation Rising Lion, a primitive strike on Iran territory just 2 days prior to the scheduled U.S. Iran nuclear talks. This dissipation strike eliminated top Iranian military leadership, including uh, IRGC Commander in Chief Hossein Salami and key nuclear scientists. This has nothing to do with the decapitation strike that took out Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who was, Vilayatullah al-Faqih Ali Khamenei, who was assassinated in February. We're talking about a primitive strike that happened on June 13th. Don't get them confused. This deception strike eliminated the head of including the commander in chief of the uh, nuclear scientist. Iran retaliated with Operation True Promise 3. Welcome, Lev, to the channel. Welcome. We would love to have you as a speaker. If you want to join us as a speaker at some point, we would love to have you. Thank you. And if you even want to join us now, that's okay. Um, so the Iranians were striking Israeli military intelligence sites. The U.S. Intervened with Operation Midnight Hammer on June 21st, bombing Iranian nuclear facilities, which prompted the Iranians to strike on U.S. bases in Iraq and Qatar. So, what is this to tell us? That the 12-day execution, the 12-day exchange provided to the Saudi that hosted the U.S. military assets was an acute vulnerability toward Tehran. The Saudis at this point were saying, okay, as long as we have American bases, we're going to be targets by the Iranians. As simple as that. Because Tehran has demonstrated its willingness to strike Gulf nations, including Saudi Arabia, and they have, and they continue to. So the Saudis are some of the people that are the most two-faced people, and they are doing talks. So as the Saudis during this war, they were telling the Iranians, we are leaving you alone. We will not attack you. We love you guys. We are both Muslims. Meanwhile, they were actually in the back supporting Israel and the United States to attack Iran. And at some instances, Saudi Arabia did its own personal attacks on Iran. That's the reality. So, it's interesting how Saudi Arabia is maneuvering through this, but I think it's going to end up biting them in the ass. The Operation Epic Fury and the decapitation of the Iranian leadership. As you know, the U.S. and Israel launched its attack on February 28, executing nearly 900 strikes in the first 12 hours. The opening wave successfully eliminated the Iranian supreme leader and his immediate family and the echelons of the Iranian military, and the second and the third and the fourth options that the U.S. president wanted to give the U.S. To give the supreme leader the next baton. So they did such an attack that they killed everyone that would have been a little bit more of a moderate voice. At the moment, believe it or not, at the moment, believe it or not, uh, we have a situation in Iran. First of all, Mustafa Khamenei, if he's still alive, he's way more extremist than his father, and he's way younger than his father. So if you think about it, the supreme leader of Iran, if he's still alive, he has a John Wick effect with more extremist ideology, getting ready to take care of the Americans and the Israelis. And if he's not alive, we're in even deeper shit, where the IRGC has shifted Iran from becoming a theocratic state to a dictatorship, which is an interesting shift. Some say with the pressure of the IRGC to the Guardian Council, I forgot which council it was, to appoint Mushtaba Khamenei as the Wilayatullah al Faqih, the next supreme leader of Iran. What you end up having is some are saying that if he's alive and he's in hiding and he's working with the IRGC, um he would owe his position to the IRGC. Why do you say this, Waji? Well, because he doesn't have or hasn't reached his father's religious hierarchy. You see, in Iran, the sheikhs and the imams and the muftis have different levels. In order for you to be one of the candidates for the supreme leader, you have to reach a certain level of piety. You have to reach a certain level of rank in terms of being a priest. I'm saying priest so you understand what I mean is imam or sheikh. Okay. Did Mustafa Khamenei reach that? Absolutely not. Did Mustafa Khamenei is supposed to be elected after his father? The Iranian laws says no, based on the anti-monarchy laws, where a father shouldn't be able to pass the baton to his son. So we have few issues here that we have been talking about the other days. These are some points I have not brought up before. Okay, my friends. We have to mention that the U.S. missiles struck and killed a school in Iran in the beginning of the war, killing 170 civilians at a girls' schools, severely damaging the Western diplomatic standing of the United States, and additionally. um this is a sign that AI is not necessarily the good tool to use during this war, or is not necessarily the human way of using our military tools to attack in this war, because it obviously resulted in deciding to attack that school without any actual fact checking or rigorous attention from humans to see if there is actual humans and actual kids going there or not. And because of that computer AI error, we have killed 170 innocent lives. The theta and reality have exchanged a caused over 13,260 uh, casualties across 5 nations and displaced millions of people across Iran, Lebanon, and some in Syria. On March of 8th, 2026, the Assembly of Experts installed, that's the name I was looking for, they installed Mustafa Khamenei as the supreme leader, converting this theocracy into a hereditary system heavily reliant on the IRGC. The Strait of Hormuz, in the meantime, blockade and global energy security. This is something that I have few points that I'm talking about. Thankfully now we prepare points for you guys. So when we show up, we have points for you to talk about. And then, by the way, if you want to write your questions, you can write your questions on here. We have a setting where we can go back all the way to the top and only see the questions and nothing but the questions. So you feel free to ask your questions. I will get to them at the end of the live stream. We have 144 people. Thank you so much for joining us. If you are just joining us, please consider becoming a subscriber if you haven't subscribed and click share. Click the destroy that heart button. Let the algorithm know that you enjoy this type of content and you want people to join us. This is basically to let the algorithm know that this is a good podcast, and so they could put it in front of more people. So let the algorithm know that you like it. Let the software know that this should be watched by everyone. Click share. Thank you. I like crossing my feet, and I need to find me a office chair that allows me to do that. That's that's the Arab in me. I want to sit on an office chair, but I want to sit on an office chair that allows me to cross my feet. Even though I have, we have something nice in the Twin Cities. This is another. This is another thing that you need to learn when you are in a capitalistic economy. A POW. I don't know what a POW is, but let me tell you this: when I came to want to buy myself an office chair in the Twin Cities, there's this place that sells used. It's a nonprofit, and they sell used office equipment for offices and businesses mostly, but they open for everyone. And the nice thing about it is I found myself some Herman Miller chairs that are worth more than that was worth $1,000 plus. But because it's used and it's been used for a while and it was donated and it's a nonprofit and on and on and on, I got it for $200. So there are things like that in your city. And I definitely recommend you to take advantage of that if you can find it. I always, when I want to buy some office equipment, or some furniture, I always look up used furniture store to see what is around me and to see who is specializing in selling furnitures that are used, and you can really good deals on it. And the nice thing about getting used furniture, you have not wasted anything from our environment. You got something that is used, and because you got it used, you did not waste any trees, you did not waste any water, you did not waste any uh, energy. And if you're looking to be sustainable, that's one of those best ways to be sustainable. Give products second, third, and fourth life. You do it for cheap, and that way you have more things to do. Anyways, we go back to economy, from personal economy to global economy, the Strait of Hormuz blockade, and the global energy security. These tips are helpful during a hard economy because they come in handy. That's why I'm mentioning a lot of those tips for people who are looking for ways to save. By April 2026, the U.S. blockade Iranian ports, and Iran responded by establishing an anti access area denial. This is a zone across the Strait of Hormuz where it halted 94% of the commercial trafficking, trapping 22,500 mariners. 22,500. Damn. Could you imagine? That's more some of the troops that we have at some of our bases. That's like a lot. Can you imagine like you being in a ship for that long, stuck? You can't get out, you can't go to a port, you can't leave. Your ship is in the middle of the waters. What would you do? Yeah, you would finish Netflix. You'd finish yeah, you would be finishing Netflix, you'd be finishing Amazon, you'd be finishing HBO. You khalas, you're like COVID time. Remember everyone during COVID? Everyone was watching TV. That is the same thing. Maybe they don't even have internet. You That's so horrible, yeah. And that's not one, two people. That's 22,500. Iran established the Persian Gulf Strait Authority, demanding a $253 million transit fee from Saudi Arabia and threatening a $5.5 million daily shortage. The Saudi government pivoted oil transit to the east west pipeline to Yumba, which handles up to 4 million barrels of oil a day, which would leave the Saudi 3 to 3.5 million capacity gap that strips revenue and drives up the global energy market. What I'm trying to tell you here is on average, the Saudi government sells about 7 to 10 million barrels a day before the war. And now they're only selling 5.5 million barrels a day. Sorry, they're only selling there's only selling 4 million barrels of oil a day. Apologies. So, that's a big jump from 10 million to 4 million. And in addition to that, you have to pay the Strait of Hormuz fee. Uh, the, that's a lot of money. And Saudi Arabia needs to be making way more so they can fund their projects. So you can forget about 2030 to finish on time. So Trump decided to do something stupid, and he did something called Project Freedom veto and the Saudi defense defect. So Trump was like, okay, khalas, we are going to open the Strait of Hormuz, whether Iran wants it or not. We are the strongest country in the world. We will be escorting ships and guiding them off out of the strait. What is the difference between escorting a ship and guiding them out of the strait? That's a good question. Guiding a ship out of the strait is like on the radio. Okay, ship ship Victoria, take three knots to the right. 3 knots. Is it 3 knots or I don't know? 3 clicks. I don't know what is it. Take three, whatever. Take step to the right, to the right, to the right, to the left, to the left. Anyways, so you know what I mean. So that's guiding. Escorting is when you have a drone or you have a plane above you, when you have another ship beside you, and escorting you out of the strait. That is the difference. One is telling you what to do, and the other one is guiding you in person. So Trump goes, okay. On May 3rd, US President unilaterally announced Project Freedom to forcefully break the Iranian blockade with over 100 aircraft and 15,000 troops. Gee, are you telling me that the United States of America had used 100 aircraft and they used What is this? They used 100 aircraft and 15,000 troops only for the whole thing to fail? Unfortunately, the answer is yes. Unfortunately, the answer is yes. We spent billions of dollars. Here you go. Continue. Uh, okay. I had to do something real quick. Thank you for your patience. Within 36 hours of the United States deciding to go into Project Freedom, using 100 aircrafts, 15,000 troops to attack the Iranians, the Saudis are like, bitch, get your ass down. We're grounding all of your planes on Saudi land and on Saudi airspace. Why? Because the Iranians have shown their capabilities of hitting you know, Saudi infrastructure that has to do with gas, that has to do with oil, that has to do with uh, uh, electricity, that has to do with water desalination. And the U.S. did not show its ability to protect the Saudi government during these attacks. So, how do you want Saudi Arabia to allow the United States to attack Iran and the Saudi government cannot protect itself? So, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait closed their airspace, grounding 43 essential U.S. combat support aircraft, including KC 135 tankers and E-3G AWACS, effectively paralyzing the U.S. operation. The Saudi government was rationally responding to a prior Iran strike on Prince Sultan Air Base, which injured U.S. service members and destroyed a $500 million E-3G AWACS that would cost us a couple $1 billion to replace right now. It cost us at the time $500 million to build, but this one would cost us couple $1 billion to replace. At that time, Riyadh until now faces an 86% depletion of its Patriot Pack 3 inventory, possessing only 400 interceptors against a massive aerial threat. So Saudi Arabia at this point is finding itself in a pickle. Crown Prince was like, motherfucker Trump, okay, Habibi, you want to use my airspace? I don't even have the tools I need to protect myself when you do attacks. All I have left is 400 missiles. How do you want me to protect myself when the Iranians are shooting me? Because every time the Iranians shoot one missile, I'm shooting 4 Patriot missiles to attack it. So all I have is basically 100 missiles. If Iran shoots 100 missiles at us, خلاص, I'm done. 100 missiles. I'm shooting four for each missile. I'm out of missiles. After 100 missile Iran shoots at me. How do you want me to protect myself? To put things into perspective for you, I am not allowing you to do anything. Trump goes, okay, if you want your Patriot missiles, you have to open the airspace. If you don't open the airspace, we will stop all of our weapon sales to Saudi Arabia. What do you mean? MBS at this point is like, okay, really, really, Trump is not a good friend. So he's talking to the Iranian. He goes, Iranian Habibi, we are lovey, we love you. Let's make a deal. Okay. We'll give you $1 billion, $2 billion, $3 billion. What do you want? Just do not attack us. We are not supporting the Americans, but the Americans bully. And they go to Trump and they're like, Trump, Habibi, we love you. Don't worry, we take care of you. Just give us the Patriot missiles. Khalas, khalas. Yes, yes. Don't worry. No, no, don't worry. Yes, yeah, we stand with America. America first. Yes, yes, yes. You want to sign the deal? Yalla, yalla, let's sign the deal. That's how they're going to be talking to Americans and the Iranians. And that's what they're doing. So, just trying to put things into perspective because people don't understand. Why would Saudi Arabia just close the space? Is there anything else included in this situation? Is it just they want to? No, no. There's the story has details. There's why I'm telling you the details. You have to understand the cause of an effect. The new transactional alliance and the Islamabad MOU. The U.S. Saudi relationship has shifted to a highly transactional model at the Daraiya summit in May 2026, yielding a 142 billion arms package and a AI strategic partnership. Saudi Arabia has a lot of energy and they have a lot of land and they can build AI facilities and they can build the infrastructure that's needed and they have cheap energy. And the fact that they have cheap energy makes them perfect place for having AI and data centers because the biggest problem for these data centers and AI is environmental damage. And second, the price of energy. And the United States decided to be like, okay, we're going to do these AI deals with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and UAE. So these countries now have access to some of the most secure, highly intelligence U.S. chips from NVIDIA. And I'm assuming at this point, China got their hands at one or two. Uh, so we're fucked. Saudi Arabia secured a major non NATO alliance status and F 35 sales explicitly detached from Israel normalization, which was a big deal because all the sales previously were told that if you don't do the Abrahamic Accord, we won't do the sales. This time, Trump was like, okay, we'll do the sales. The thing is that non major NATO ally did not really pay off, did it? So the United States signs an agreement making Saudi Arabia a major non-NATO ally, and Saudi Arabia gets their ass kicked, and America never shows up. What's the point of making Saudi Arabia a major NATO ally, non-NATO ally? You tell me, huh? Does it make sense? Hello, Dave. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to the space. So the diplomatic normalization with Israel has absolutely collapsed due to heavy civilian casualty in Gaza, in Lebanon, and Manab, and Israel expansion and far right extremism. has just made it impossible for any Arabic country, including Saudi Arabia, to actually sign this, including the time where Saudi Arabia has done airstrikes in Doha, Qatar, and the United States did nothing other than made Netanyahu in the Office call the Qatari government and apologize in front of international television. Boo-hoo. Motherfucker just fucked up the sovereignty of the Qatari people, fucked up the negotiations between Hamas and the United States and Israel, and okay, that's it. So the Saudis are looking at this shit, and they're looking at the fact that the United States did sign and put Qatar at a higher protection status than NATO, and yet the United States didn't do shit. So why should I stay in that relationship? I'm not the one saying it. They're the one saying it. I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot me, okay? We love you, Trump. You are so strong. You are so beautiful. Your administration is the best administration in US history. We have thousands and hundreds of thousands of crowds waiting for you. You are the most genius person in the art of the deal. Could you just, give us a break? Just give us a break. Also, the people around you don't like you. You need to change them. Yeah. They don't like you. No. We tell you the honest truth. If people around you like you, they would help you out a little bit more. But everyone around you is trying to use you, Mr. Trump, Mr. President. Wallahi, I'm not joking. Think about it. Why does Patricia Hegseth comes to your office and tell you to do stupid attacks every day? Why does Maria Rubio come to your office and tells you to do stupid shit every day? These two princesses, you need to put them aside. They have a lot of drama. Promise you. The bald guy, what's his name? He's a crazy guy. He's one of those people that want to bring an end to the world. Do you want to bring? You wouldn't if a end to the world happened. You wouldn't have your golf course. You wouldn't have your your club, Mar-a-Lago club. You wouldn't be able to do any of that stuff. The bald guy that you have, what's his name? Take him away. He's bad. He's bad for you. He wants the day of judgment. You want the day of. I know, Trump. You don't want the day of judgment. You and I both together. We have some Stephen Miller. Yeah, Stephen Miller. Not good for you. Stephen Miller talks bad behind your back. I promise. I promise. Take it from a wise Arab. I see him. I'm like, oh, you know, the bad guys from the Game of Thrones that want to overthrow the. He's an advisor and he wants to overthrow the king or something. I forgot his name. That's the same one. That's the same one. That's the same one. Watch out. You have to watch Game of Thrones. That's the same one. Be careful, Trump. Be careful. We love you. Game of Thrones applies to real politics, I swear. You just have to take the game theory out of it and leave the drama. Leave the sex scenes too, but you might like that. It's okay. But I'm telling you, Stephen Miller is the one that's trying to throw you off the game. He's trying to get you in power. He knows no one would vote for him. He knows. That's why he's taking advantage of you. Even the Republicans don't like him. And Miss Lindsey Graham. Miss Lindsay is the girl that always spreads your lies. She just spread all the time. She goes right, she goes left, and she just spreads rumors. Miss Lindsay, you have to be careful from her. Really. You see her on TV, and then you have Serena Bannon. Oof. She was close friend with Epstein, talking about making him look good again. You want Epstein every day in your life? Kick them away from your life. Serena Bannon is the one that's causing you problems now. Serena Bannon was making documentary with Jeffrey Epstein to say he is an innocent guy. You think if Jeffrey Epstein, you personally say Jeffrey Epstein is not a good guy and that you kicked him out of the club. I believe you kicked him out of the club. But you let Steve Bannon hang out. That's not good for you. I'm telling you because I care. This is what a good advisor would tell you. If I was your advisor, I would tell you that. I would tell you, be careful. You are who you hang out with. You are who. Imagine you sit down with a guy that only makes fire. You stand next to him, you smell like fire. Imagine now you go hang out with a guy that makes perfumes. All of a sudden you smell like perfumes. That's exactly the same thing. You made the mistake of hanging out with. I know. Okay, we believe you. We believe you. You are innocent. You have done nothing. But you know the mistake of hanging out with the bad guy makes you look bad. You should have learned that from Jeffrey. Now everyone you have around you is suspicious. Everyone in the White House, I have a question mark on. One was a neighbor of Jeffrey. The other one is was dealing with him economically. The other one was inviting him to the island. What else? This is not good for you, my friend. This is not good for you. Let me be your advisor. I give you good advice. I give you good advice. I cannot become president, so you don't have to worry about me. I give you good advice. I tell you how to end the war. I tell you how to improve the economy. Just listen to me, okay? I'm a good guy. I'm one of the good ones. You like to say I'm one of the good ones. Don't worry. We take care of you. They let you walk out of the bathroom with the paper towel in your shoes. Do you forget? You think a good advisor would let you do that? A good advisor would even hire you a stylist. They would do tailoring for you to make you look mwah, fix your ties up a little bit, give you a good style. What is this? They don't give you even good haircuts. Even the makeup to cover your hand doesn't match your tone. You know there is tone that makeup that matches your hand tone. They just gotta bring a bunch of them and match the correct tone with you. They don't care about you. They want you to look bad. Even the toner for your hand is not. You need a gay guy in your White House. You need the gay guy to put the house in place. What is Wiles? What's her name? Wiles? Susie Wiles? Susie Wiles couldn't even get you the correct makeup. Think about it. Think about it. Okay? Think about it. Think about it and come back to me, okay? Don't tell your advisors you're talking to me. They will want to intercept you and take you down. Be careful. There is a conspiracy against you, Mr. President. You know, people say be careful from the closest of you, the closest to you, I mean. Those are the people you got to be careful of, Mr. President. I'm surprised no one told you about the toner. To see where I left off. So in 2026, Iran war, according to Trump, has concluded on June 17th. So technically, we know how we're not in war anymore, according to Trump. So the war is over, Habibi. Everyone go back to your houses, okay? Everyone go back to your homes. Turn on the engines and go. Yalla. Go home. Why are you watching why are you all standing on the side? Go home, khalas. War is over. It was over on the 17th. You still hanging out here? Subhanallah. They signed the memorandum of understanding, you know, and they did it not anywhere. They did it in Versailles, the same place where the World War One peace treaty failed. No one told him that. If he had a good advisor, he would have told him that, Mr. President, you don't want to sign this at the Versailles. I'm a good advisor to you. The last time someone signed the peace treaty at Versailles, it failed, Mr. President. It's bad karma. It doesn't look good, Mr. President. That's a good advisor. That's an advisor that cares about you, Mr. President. No, oh yeah, Versailles, let's go. That's where they ended World War One. Yeah, World War One peace treaty did go well. Ah. So apparently the treaty mandated, an end of operation at all fronts, including Lebanon. But subhanallah, the war is still, the war is over. The war, there's nothing happening in Lebanon. That's just, you're dreaming. You're just seeing stuff. You're hallucinating. You need to go see your therapist. There is no bombing. There's no killing. There's no occupation in Lebanon. The war is over. Go to your home. Why is everyone talking about Lebanon every day? Huh? Why are you talking about the Strait of Hormuz? So Iran supposedly should be cleaning the Strait of Hormuz of mines. Supposedly. And the lifting of US blockade has happened. And US sanctions has been lifted from Iranian oil. Iran, for the first time, can sell oil in US dollars, my friends. Iran was forced to take the Chinese yuan previous. They were forced to take Russian currency. Because the United States has lifted its sanctions on Iran, Iran can sell one with US dollar, two to any country they want. Any country that want to buy from them, they can buy. And the sanctions basically said previously, if you bought Iranian oil, we put sanctions on you, you get in trouble from us, blah, 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 blah. Iranians are making more money than they ever made. So, but there's a lot of internal Iranian dynamics that we need to talk about. Iran, Iran has a lot of internal dynamics. The Iranian regime survives through the parastatal shadow economy with entities like the president and here, one second. This is not correct. So basically, there's certain factions in the Iranian government close to the Vilayatullah al Faqih that control about 65% of the Iranian economy. Meanwhile, the state faces severe ecological collapse. I talked about this a few times. I told you guys that Iran has several issues with its economy. One of the biggest issue is water. Even though Iran is supposed to be a water-rich country, because of corruption and horrible planning, Iran has resulted in its dams being ended, becoming wastewaters instead of becoming water that could be used because they built the dam on deposits that was filled with salt, and that just made the whole water like murky and just weird and ended up becoming poisonous, which resulted exactly in a lot of droughts, if you can think about it. Meanwhile, sociological polling indicated that there's definitive post-Islamic democratic demographic shift with approximately 70% of Iranians actively choosing something or would prefer something other than the Islamic Republic. This study was done not inside of Iran, to be particular. It was done using a very secure network, and it was sent to the Iranians. So this is just an estimate, not an exact number, because that polling wasn't done inside of Iran with all of the Iranians. And there are many Iranians that have fear. And I believe that you're more likely to do that polling if you are against the Iranian government than you are for the Iranian government. So I do think there is a little bit bias in there. But the important thing that we're trying to explain here, that Iran does have opposition from within its own people. There are people who are not Muslim anymore. There are people who are no longer going to their prayers. If you haven't read my article from yesterday, definitely go read it about the Iranian power apparatus and power shift. It is very important article. I published 3 articles for you yesterday, and they are all good, and they're all back to back. So if you haven't read them, there's definitely more content for you to read. Please read it and share it with your friends and family and on Substacks, Resubstack it or Upstack it, whatever you want to call it. Um, we have critical intelligence gaps where that remains regarding the existence of Mushtaba Khamenei, actual ability to control the IRGC and the country, the operational autonomy of the Iranian religious affiliates that many like to call proxies, and I write proxies because that's what people associate them with, following the heavy leadership losses and the uh, price death of the dark money liquidity sustaining the regime. The regime is also funding these organizations. If you read my article yesterday, that you'll find out there's one city in Iran that's responsible for appointing all of the Shia leadership that have existed around the Arab world and the around the world, actually, including the United States and Australia. So if you haven't read my article yesterday, I want to know the fact that Iran has actual imams tied to the Iranian government and the United States that actually studied in Qom, the holy city Qom, where Mushtaba Khamenei went to school and his father went to school, and where his father established that city that has been appointing people. What are you saying? Yes, you have missed out. Then go read it. Um, the exact term ending the Project Freedom standoff between Washington and Riyadh remains oblique alongside the actual retention rate of the essential civilian defense contractors in Saudi Arabia bases, in Saudi bases. So that goes to the last point I wanted to make. And then I'm going to grab this closer. Well, hello. Show questions. I won't be able to see any of your comments at this moment. As you are watching this, please destroy the heart button at the bottom right. Please share this live stream with everyone so we can have more people coming. We have passed the 1 hour mark. We are going toward our second hour, answering your questions, making comments, and making sure that we get it all figured out for you. I do have, Ken, a reminder. Deborah Amos agreed to come back. I will find a topic for her first before she comes back, or see if she has a specific topic that she wants to talk about. We'll see if we can get her on the show. Today I'll be talking to my friend Justice Gatson to see when we can set up the training for grassroots organizing. If you want to become a grassroots organizer, I strongly recommend you guys getting ready to subscribe to her and getting ready to support her, because I feel like we might do it as a paid subscribers only, where people have to pay, and I will make sure that her membership is the cheapest membership that she could do. The idea is that she's a human rights organizer and she's an activist. So she's a black woman, and we need to compensate her for time and effort to do a grassroots organizing training that she usually charges for. So I'm asking her to do that, and she has agreed to do it during a very difficult time of her life. Her husband is very sick and is being mistreated at the hospitals in Missouri because he lives in Missouri, and doctors are fucking racist and they have been mistreating him. They almost killed him several times. And he yeah, so she's taking care of him and she's doing other stuff. So you guys might have to subscribe to her to join the training, but you would not regret having that training, in my own opinion. I want to hear. Oh yeah, I heard that cute story. Question: Who in Iran is at the appropriate imam sheikh level? I mentioned that in no, it's mentioned in my research. I don't know if I mentioned it in the article. Um, why not get a POW? I don't know what that is. It's called the Mujtahid rank, and under the 1979 Constitution, Supreme Leader of Iran was mandated to be a marja al marja taqallud, the Grand Ayatollah or the Supreme Leader, is the highest echelon of 12 Shia jurisdiction, essentially, jurisprudence. In 1989, the constitutional amendment lowered this threshold to mujtahid. So mujtahid, and then there's a higher rank, and an Islamic jurors recognized as capable of independent reasoning and interpretation of the Sharia law. In addition, they have to be direct descendants of the Prophet. Only direct descendants of the Prophet, according to them, can be the in that position. Used furniture savers is good. I don't know that name, but sure. Right. Food, fresh water, essential host. Okay. When is the last day of Khomeini's funeral? I said that yesterday. I think it was on Thursday. Let me check. Thursday. I was right. Double checking is always nice. That's where his son is supposed to appear and lead the prayer. There's nothing that would say that he couldn't lead the prayer, somewhere from an anonymous site, or it would be electronic, and that would be interesting. It's also interesting to see if they would have a body double for something like that. Um, I have a lot of questions about what would happen. We'll see. And then, are we still about to hit tank bottom next week due to the delay in shipping? Yes, we are. Nothing changed about that. Was it three of nine Iranian revealed us of? I don't understand your question, Tammy. Could you repeat that for me or elaborate? What would we do without you? Oh, you'd be fine. I'm just a normal person doing my best to support and help people, nothing more. I think that someone needs to do something about bridging cultures and saying that some things are okay, and we need to calm down about some canceling culture, and it needs to be someone of color, and it needs to be someone that has been bridging people together. I feel like uh, we in the West have um, not necessarily stepped out of our not have lived not so many of us have lived in foreign countries to see that appropriation is just part of every culture. I'm not saying like there is racist appropriation, but I'm just saying some sort of cultural appropriation has always been happening, especially in Arabia, where we had migrants coming from everywhere, where our food has integrated together, our clothes have integrated together, our accents have integrated together. And like you practicing their culture is considered respectful if you practice it in a respectful way. So like there's sort like we need to have conversations about topics like that. We need to have conversations about the right versus left versus the culture wars versus the class war. Someone needs to talk about that stuff. Someone needs to explain the Middle East to people in a way they understand. And if no one is doing it, then at least I need to do it. And explaining the Middle East and bridging culture is what would fix a lot of our problems, in my opinion. So that's why I do what I do. And it's an obligation, not something that if no one is doing it, then it should become an obligation. As because no one is doing it, it's an obligation on me to do it. Doesn't the Iranians have about 1,000 missiles? I think they have more than 1,000 missiles, but we still don't know what capabilities they have and where they're hiding it. If we're being honest, do you read the articles about what is happening in Washington D.C. regarding the tended military? No, I did not. Send me a screenshot of that article. I'll read it. What is the difference between the war we are having and World War Three? World War Three, World War means that every single country in the world almost is involved one way or another in the war. That's why it's not a World War Three. Um, it is a conflict. It is a war. But World War Three would include all of the countries of Europe, the United States, Middle Eastern countries, Asian countries. Now you can call it Asian, like a World War. You can't just call things World War Three. You know, there's a certain threshold for a world war, and the United States has only had five-star generals during a world war, I believe, and mm, that is when you have a five-star general appointed, and yeah, my friend, they don't believe we doesn't believe me when I tell them that we will be rationing gas very shortly. I'm sorry, I'm not seeing any difference. You, I keep telling you guys, in the United States, Americans are living in a bubble. There is no attack on your homeland. There's no attack on your shipping lanes. There's no attack on your like production infrastructure or internet or electricity or dams. You don't have any of those attacks. So, and the U.S. government has been pumping out a lot of its strategic reserves for you guys, so you don't feel as much pain as the rest of the world. So it's normal that your friend doesn't believe it. I'm not surprised. What do you expect? Do you believe that Khomeini will appear on the last day of his father's funeral? I think that would be his biggest test. I don't know. You can't like me telling you he will show up is me telling you I know his health and security situation, and I've been saying that his health and security situation is one of the biggest unknowns, and that is causing a problem for the world. As they have been trying to figure out the MOU and figure out peace talks, they don't know if they're talking to the supreme leader or if they're talking to the head of the IRGC, which is a problem. It is an unknown. Is it over? It's not over. Vijay, how do we get inside information from Iran? Isn't it so dangerous to be a spy there? Do we only have cyber intelligence? There are people who are talking anonymously from in Iran delivering news. There are people on X that are sharing um, videos in person. I don't necessarily take the opinions from the people who are sharing the videos. You see me sharing a lot of videos from the ground of Iran. I think that's how you get raw intelligence. In the old days, the CIA would sit down and would have a whole department, and all of the job for the CIA and the Pentagon would be to go over the news of foreign countries and just read that, because the news is one of for these foreign countries is one of the biggest sources of information. And then you have people on the ground that are now sharing things on social media. You look at Nana, is a source that is very famous on giving you raw data, raw information that is from the ground of Iran, telling you, oh, there's a protest here, oh, there's shooting there. That gives you raw sources of information. Now, after you get that raw source of information, you need an additional intelligence of understanding how the game and war operates. And once you have been paying attention to this war for a minute, you start seeing a pattern. And then once you start collecting those data day after day, you start understanding more. And as you get debriefed every day and you come to these meeting every day, all of a sudden you have a bigger picture of what's happening. But if you're just looking at the headlines and you're like going quick and you're not like doing the job that we're doing, it's kind of hard, isn't it? That's why I'm trying to make this. This is what I'm trying to accomplish, which a lot of people don't understand. I'm trying to simplify the language that's used to explain the Middle East without simplifying the details that matter. Like I'm trying to use words that would be easily interpreted by Westerners to understand the Middle East with explaining the details and the complexity of the issue. Because if I don't explain to you the details and the complexity of the issue, and I just simplify everything for you, you're consuming McDonald's. You're consuming McDonald's at that time, fast food. You're not getting the full picture. You're not getting the nutrients. You're not getting the vitamins that you need to be well informed regarding what's happening. So there's a balance that I have to achieve every day. When I write my articles, when I come out here and speak, I'm giving you details in a simplified way so you can understand it. And that's how my articles are always targeted. And I hope that you can notice that when I'm writing my articles. That's genuinely my goal. It's like, oh, wait, there's a whole bunch of details here, but wait, it's not that It's written in a simplified manner that I could, if I read it over and over again, or if I read it once or twice, that's it. Like I get it. So that's the idea. I don't see you guys have any more questions in here. Let's see if we have questions in the chat. No questions in the chat. Pam. Oh, that's mean. Someone was telling Malcolm, your coffee looks like chicken noodle soup. Uncalled for. Didn't we call it World War II until after the fact? I don't know, actually. That's a good question. See if I can read your comments now. Rude and uncalled for. Yes, they are very well written. Uh, if you guys don't mind, I would appreciate if you could show my channels after this live stream some love on YouTube and on Substack. Um, the software is weird. Like, have you noticed that there are a lot of people that has nothing to do with world politics and world news are like ranked all on world politics and world news? Like they're covering US politics. Somehow they're ranked on world news. Um, and I talked to the guys. I said, you're not doing the ranking system right. And then why isn't there a ranking for Middle Eastern politics or Middle Eastern news? So I feel like the Substack needs to catch up on a lot of things. I'm having some problems on the back end every time I'm trying to write an article or publish it, or when I'm trying to publish my videos after the live stream. So it's a little frustrating at the moment, especially like when you're super busy and you're trying to like make sure that. So like for example, I've been trying to giving people free memberships, and they've been coming, some of them to me, and then saying, "Waji, you gave me a membership, a paid membership, and somehow I have lost it." And I'm having to reach out every single time someone tell. I don't have a problem reaching out, but like, why is that? Why? What's happening on their back end? I don't know. So if you have gotten a free paid membership from me and you're trying to use it, and for some reason it's not working, send me a message. I'm genuinely reaching out to Substack and letting them know what's happening. Like this is not okay. So it's a little frustrating because I'm trying to make this smooth, and I've been on their bestseller for a minute, and I've been ranking for a while. You'd think they'd take better care of you, but um, apparently not. And when you try to reach out to the customer service on their website, you're always talking to AI. And when you're talking to AI, they tell you to go and message an email. And once you message that email, it tells you go back to talk to the AI. And you're like, I already talked to the AI. So it's stupid. It's stupid. And I appreciate your patience on that. But your support, restacking uh, my posts and liking it makes a difference for the algorithm and stuff. So I appreciate if you've been supporting me, and I appreciate if you would support me if you haven't. I don't see any more questions. I might hang out to see if you guys have any comments or questions. So I'll stay here for a little bit longer. The quality of the scheduled, I've been here 18 months. The last 2 to 3 months quality has gone down, unfortunately. Substack is hinky on some things and frequently unreliable. I don't. Guys, guess what? YouTube got back to me. Motherfuckers from YouTube, this is what they said. They're following up here. The policy team completed another very thorough review of your video where Malcolm Nance saying that Hezbollah using drones kicking Israeli ass. That's all the video said. Okay. And they confirmed that the original discussion stands. You might have already reviewed the help center policy, but here it is again. They're saying that my video did violate. How? I have no idea. So, yeah, my channel still has a strike on it, and I'm still like hurting because of it. Probably being shadow bound and shit. Yeah, YouTube answered. They said it did violate their policies, even though Malcolm has the exact same video on. So yeah, like when I say I genuinely need your help, like I'm being attacked on YouTube. Like I'm not making shit up. Like my account, the information I'm sharing, the fact that I'm out here like doing education, people don't like that. Some people really hate the fact that I'm doing that. So like I have been sharing every once in a while when I get a warning from YouTube that here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just this 6:30, 6:58 this morning, I received 4 of my videos were recorded, and 4 of them found out that they are all suitable for viewers. Why are you doing this to me? So yeah, welcome to my life. Yeah, truth serum. They are hurting. They can't believe that someone comes out and speak. and do education for free. You know, Baba Trump is innocent. You give him too much blame. It's the people around him. I told you guys, people around Trump doesn't like him. He needs to wake up to that. Really, it's bad for him. I hope he does something about it. We'll see. We'll see. Thank you, Sandra. That means a lot. Yeah. Have you noticed none of the TV channels have been asking me to come speak? I used to speak on TV all the time. Well, since I've been doing this, no TV channel has been coming to me. One time, I was on Al Hurra TV and I was debating. I was debating a guy from Oman, a guy from Saudi Arabia, and a guy from, I believe, the UAE. One of them was basically calling me, the guy from Oman was basically calling me a fag. And I was like, wasn't your Sultan also gay? Not Sultan Haytham. And he was a pedophile, wasn't he? The whole show stopped. The recording ended. Even though it's a well known fact that everyone knows that. Like everyone knows Sultan Qaboos was gay and a pedophile. I know guys that were stopped by him and his motorcade to pick them up. There is a whole fucking roundabout in Oman that's known for guys to go and line up, and if he likes someone, he'll tell his guards, and then those guards will go to that someone and they'll take him to his palace. The show ended. Two of the debaters left. As soon as you speak truth to power, the whole world shakes. As soon as you speak truth to power, the world shakes. So yeah, I've faced this type of attack in Arabic. I'm not surprised to face it in English. But I thought, I wouldn't be facing that much attacks and, doing stuff like this in English. That we're in America, doing freedom of speech and talking about democracy and talking about your basic principles of how you should stand up for yourself and for your community and how you can prepare yourself and how you can communicate with people outside of your country and how you can respect different cultures. Apparently, that's not okay. Yeah. So since then, people have been afraid to invite someone like me to speak on TV because I speak the open secrets. I give you facts without acting. I come on your television without memorizing lines. I come to your TV channel ready. Churchill's once asked, how do you give your speeches, or how do you prepare for your speeches? He said, if I have a long speech, I prepare for it in 5 minutes. If I have a short speech, I prepare for it an hour. When you are going on a debate, you're not giving speeches. You're engaging in actual mind and uh, what does Socrates call it? When you engage in debate, what did Socrates call it? Rhetoric. That's right. Rhetoric. Rhetoric is not something you memorize. Rhetoric is active thinking, active dialogue. When you see debaters going on stage and they repeat memorized lines, they always lose because they're not engaging in active thoughts. They're memorizing and throwing it out. Why did I mention rhetoric? What was I talking about? I forgot. My coffee is out. Rhetoric is not propaganda. Using rhetoric for the benefit of a state and pushing a state own 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 propaganda. Now that's propaganda. Rhetoric is an act of debate, of active speaking. It's something that you do. It's like eating. Rhetoric. It can be used for propaganda, and it can be used for fighting for civil rights. Learning how to activate your tools of rhetoric changes everything. When I come on here, I don't do a lot of preparing. I do a lot of educating myself. I have a lot of factual information that I want to talk about. I don't prepare lines. I have fact sheets in front of me that I need to read to you guys. But then it's all rhetoric. It's all thinking and solving problems right in front of you. That's different than when you have a prompter that just writes everything for you and you're reading it and then you don't answer any questions and you don't sit down and uh, uh, explain your reasoning when you don't do you're skipping a lot of stuff, and that's what you end up having on a lot of news anchors is that they end up what they do, and this is exactly what happens on TV. You'll have a news anchor. Today, Iran hit Saudi Arabia and the United States attacked back. And now we have our specialist from Washington, D.C., coming to you directly, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson, what do you care about? What do you say about the attack that Iran has done and the response from the United States? And he repeats the same exact thing. Oh, yes, the United States was out there and they attacked Iran and Iran responded. And we don't know what will happen next. That's what you hear on news media. Oh, we don't know. We're not sure yet. No one is positive. They just wasted 10 minutes of your time. And before that, 20 minutes of advertisements. I ain't making it up. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm genuinely just trying to have dialogue. I'm trying to have conversation. I'm trying to have back and forth. I'm trying to build a community. That's different than being a news anchor. I'm creating a community. I'm creating a culture. That's what I want to do. If you like this type of culture change, if you like this type of revolution of education and revolution of knowledge, then please join us. So yeah, thank you all for coming. I don't see any more questions. So I appreciate everyone. I appreciate your time. We will have Deborah Amos here soon. We will have Piotr at 5 p.m. or 4 p.m. my time, Central Time today. Let me check. 4 p.m. Central Time. So stay tuned. I should probably make a schedule one just so you guys could add it to your calendar and stuff. So join us again today. We'll have another live stream and keep your eyes open for another article. If you haven't read my 3 articles since yesterday, then you have some homework to do. They're actually worth your time. I talked about Saudi Arabia. I talked about Iran power struggle. I talked about um, the standoff between the U.S. and Iran, and the NATO dimension. So these are good articles that are worth your time. I've also shared an article that was published by Deborah Amos, and I'm telling her that she would need to change and start putting cover photos for her articles because it does make a difference. I'm helping her out, figuring her grips on this platform. If you haven't subscribed to her account, please consider becoming a paid subscriber. We're trying to, like these type of people are the people that we want to come and my job when I get these type of professionals over on my platform is to get them off script when I get professionals on my podcast, best thing to do is taking them off script. Like when you're watching a play and one of the actors stop acting and then looks at the audience and start talking to the audience and then comes back and does the play. Going off script is exactly the way I can get them to start acting and using their rhetoric with me. So there is a strategy I do here where the idea is how I get that professional to respectfully get out of their comfort shell and start talking about things they usually don't want to talk about to the media. So we dove into Jamal Khashoggi when she was over. We dove into the U.S. Iran war, and I feel like when she spoke on my podcast, we spoke about the news stories differently than when you would have heard it elsewhere. Give it a try. Let me know if I'm making things up or if it's actually the way that I thought I did it. If you think that there is feedback that you have, I'm always open to hear your feedback. Anyways, remember, you may not fuck with politics, but politics will always fuck with you. And no, I'll be back tomorrow. مع السلامة. Bye bye. بالإنجليزي. Goodbye. I'll see you tomorrow.